Hello everyone, I'm Daryl from Bevan's Bricks, and today we're kind of taking a look at the display that I was participating with the Charm City LUG. I'm going to start over here at the first corner. This is one of our members, Chris's build. This is the Brick Filet. It's actually on Lego Ideas if anybody's interested in supporting that. Then we have my Pizza Hut mock behind that, and we have this huge green tower. It's an amazing build by Jason. And that thing is just absolutely huge. We had a little bit of a problem though, and half our lights did not come on, unfortunately, for this particular event. All the roads that I have in here are brick-built roads. They are something I made a couple years ago, and then I use a product from Blinky Bricks to actually illuminate them. And it's a really awesome light. It keeps, because everything's on Mills plates. So with using the Mills plates, you're able to keep all the wiring nice and hidden, and gives it a nice, clean, smooth effect.
I love the color, and I want to point out with the gold accents on this large building here, and then the massive kind of gold spire on the top there just works so well.
And the reason that, because me and Jason both have a ton of gold. I have another gold building on the other side of the display here. What it was is back right at the beginning of 2020, Lego, when they used to have Pick a Brick and Bricks and Pieces. On Bricks and Pieces, they put all these gold pieces on clearance for like 2 cents a piece. So me and him both bought a couple thousand a piece, and then we're like, okay, now we got to figure out how to use them, and that was what his version of using them was. So
I also want to mention the scene we've got at the base of that building there, which is very unique.
Absolutely. The Three Little Pigs is what it's supposed to be, but it's obviously there's a whole bunch of pigs, so it's like the Three Little Pig City. But you always got to try and add a little bit of character to any build or any city, and then you can even see like down through here, there's like little scenes going on with different figures doing different things.
We can keep moving our way through the city then.
Now over here, I'm going to tell you that a lot of this is actually official Lego buildings, unfortunately, and it's because I was supposed to be bringing a very large building that crashed on my floor during packing. So that's why this is official sets, because we try to keep everything mocks as much as possible. Really, because everybody's always seen the official sets. You don't want to see sets; you want to see actual mocks. But
this is the worst nightmare for a Lego fan coming to a show.
Yes, but we live and learn. But we have the Daily Bugle here, and this thing is just massive. We've actually had a few little incidents at the show here before we got all the, because they have this little railing around everything now, and before we had the railing on, somebody had come walking by and it kind of bumped the table, and we thought this whole thing was just going to crash and wipe out half our display. The water tower and the sign actually physically fell off when it was wobbling because it was moving so hard, but we were able to grab it and hold it before it took the big timber.
You're only allowed to knock over buildings while the camera's rolling. Everyone knows that.
Well, there were people grabbing. You should have saw the amount of people that were struggling to grab their cameras just in case it did.
I also like the architectural detail of using like the track pieces here for this.
Well, that was one of the great things that Lego did when they designed this piece. To me, that was one of the most amazing pieces they could have come back with, was this track part here. I want to say Lego reintroduced that particular piece with the Crocodile train set, if I'm not mistaken. But that piece is actually originally a vintage piece from back in the 70s when I was a kid, but it was blue in color. So I was really excited when they came back out with that piece, and being able to use it in a building like they did with this, it's just awesome to me. It's supposed to be a church, but he ended up changing it over. It was supposed to be for a different display. But again, because we needed to get some fill, he just brought it out here and kind of threw it in place, and it goes well because the colors match Jason's build really well. But this over here, yes, it was 2 years ago, I think, we were supposed to do a collab where they were going to it was all going to be construction builds, and that was actually a remnant from a display that was supposed to have been done 2 years ago, where they had a multitude of different cranes and things that were on display, and other buildings that were in various ranges, as you can see with that one, of construction to try and resemble a city under construction.
I also love the emblems represented there as well. That looks fantastic. Kind of the lug look to it.
With the nice snot building is what really makes it come out and look really awesome.
So as we move beyond the Daily Bugle then, I know you mentioned some of these are like official Lego kits. You do get a little diner down here.
Yes, we got the Earnhardt Diner, which I should say Earnhardt Diner, but to me I always think Earnhardt because he was one of my favorite race car drivers. But that, again, was one of another last-minute builds, but again, it looks absolutely freaking amazing. These are all the official buildings. That is another build by Jason. That is his botanical garden type building set with the really cool arch and canopy on top of the center corner. And then someone over here took the official Palace Cinema set and they made it more of a adult-themed playhouse, we'll call it. Then we even have a little cupcake shop up here in the front that was a custom build. And what else could I talk about? We have the Palm House, which is supposed to be a large greenhouse. And if you look down inside of it, you'll see various trees and plants and things like that are going on. Then you have the nice, beautiful entryway with all the plants that are built down into the walkways. And then we have the Avengers Tower, which is actually built by me. It's about 6 months worth of work, and then I just lighted the daylights out of it because me being an electrician, I love lighting. I'm sorry.
This is an incredible build here. We'll definitely do an individual video with you on this as well so people can check that out for more detail. But for now, give us kind of a quick overview of what we have here.
Just kind of going through it really quickly. Each floor, I tried to make a different scene throughout the entire movie series. First floor was Iron Man announcing, or Tony Stark announcing he was Iron Man. That was supposed to be like the office tower area for S.H.I.E.L.D. Creation of Captain America, the floor of armor for Tony Stark, the first time that he met Black Widow, the puny god scene. The floor above that, I forgot to bring my minifigs, but that was supposed to be the floor where everybody's trying to pick up Thor's hammer. And in the very top is supposed to be the scene from the movie where Vision was created. Yeah. But the building in total is 6 feet tall. That was something else I think we missed out on. Jason's building is, I want to say, just over. I think he's like 7'2". And then this is Mel's building right behind my building from the season 1 of Lego Masters. And he did some really awesome work to make that particular design and shape of that building. Just to give you kind of a quick rundown on it, though, the entire core of that building is all Technic parts, and each one of those panels of glass is just held on by robot arms. That way it was able to kind of pitch back in and give you that funky look about it. And then, of course, we had to light that up to try and match the rest of the city display as well. Now, this is from Nathan, this clock tower here. This is, if I remember correctly, because I'm not from this area, I'm from Michigan, but I think this is one of the sites that you'll see in downtown Baltimore. I know this building is from downtown Baltimore, but I thought both of these were.
I think the mock card says, yeah, Baltimore there. Yep, you're right.
But these are both supposed to be, I guess, really iconic sites that if you were to drive to downtown Baltimore, you would see either one of these buildings. And, I mean, he just did an amazing job with it. Both of these buildings are modular in fashion, and when I say they're modular in fashion, pretty much every one of these buildings is kind of modular in fashion, but the base is one section, and then this splits into two, and then the top is a whole other section. We actually had to bring an 8-foot ladder here to get some of these builds on this table fully assembled. So it was a little bit of ingenuity to try and even get this thing here and get it set up the way that it is now. Now the roads on this half are done by Jason. As you saw on my side, it was brick built. This is a version of doing tile roads. And me personally, I almost think I like the black better with the roads. And the reason I say that is because with it being black, number one, it looks like asphalt. But another important feature with it is it's not blending with the buildings too much, so it makes the buildings kind of pop more, which has kind of got me rethinking the way that I did the roads on that side into black brick instead. It
contrasts nicely with kind of the gray sidewalks and that sort of thing.
Yes, instead of, because mine, I like the version on the other side, which is the ones that I do, but at the same time, it almost starts blending, where this gives you a real nice natural pop, more natural look, and then, you look at it and you think black and it's asphalt, so it's a really good look. At the bottom, this is still Nathan's builds here. This one over here in the corner, as you can see, is motorized, and this is all from a scene from Mary Poppins. If you're not familiar with that, and one of the scenes in the movie is the house starts kind of rocking, and that's why he's got that kind of shaking along as we go.
You got to watch for when the Admiral fires off the cannon.
Yes, exactly. And then I believe this was another one of his buildings that he brought just to kind of help fill in a little bit. I think it was supposed to be a bridal boutique or something like that, if I remember correctly. And then coming around here, this was just more of the base of this particular build. And then we have a lot of the tile work and stuff just to kind of fill it in so they could add in a lot of different minifigs to get a lot of different details. And then we have, this is something I love, this was Jason from Charm City. These are all palm trees. It's a custom design that he came up with. And I mean, the look of them, they're just awesome. It's a very simple technique for anybody that's interested. The entire inside of this, what you do is you take the 1x1 brick with studs on all four sides, and you just start putting on all the little wedge plates, or tiles, I guess I should say, on each side. And then as you're going, you rotate them about 90 degrees or 180, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of keep them out of sync, so that way it looks kind of more natural for this type and style of palm tree. Now, this building was the other building I was telling you about, because Jason, me and him both bought a ton of gold, and this was what I came up with to try and use all the gold pieces I have from transporting it. Some of my gold got a little scuffed, obviously, but all in all, it still made it here. But again, they had them on sale for 2 cents a piece, and some of these pieces now, I think that they're back to retail price, or as much as like $1 a part now. So to see a building like this, most people are thinking, oh my God, you spent a fortune, and really, no, we didn't. It's just, it was a lot of excess gold pieces. We were able to get them cheap, and this is what we came up with to kind of fill them in. This particular building, it was not just like Jason's. It wasn't designed after anything, but to kind of give you an idea, because you can see it better in this particular build, again, because I do a lot of the different lighting. If you look at the building, every building that I do, there's usually some sort of false elevator shaft up the center of the building, and the reasoning behind that particular design is quite simply to hide, because as you can see, the entire building's lit with lights. It's to hide all the wiring harness that I have inside the building and trying to keep it as natural as possible looking, because there's nothing worse than trying to look inside of a build and you see wire hanging everywhere. That helps keep it hidden. And last but not least, we have Slade's builds over here. We have let me get over on the side so you can see it a little better. This is supposed to be it's like a Guinness bar build that he has right there, and then he has this nice large tower, and as you can tell, most of this is snot built, and then you even have the old vintage, which they still make them now too. It's the castle pieces on the corners, which help to give it that really unique shape and form to the exterior sides of the building.
So there's so many incredible buildings here. Do you know what how high the tallest building is on the layout?
If I remember correctly, Nathan had the tallest building, and I want to say he was just under 8 feet, if I remember correctly. He had to add that little spire on the top just to make sure he was the tallest. So we were kind of having a little competition to see who could go the biggest for the show this year.
What is the planning process like for a massive layout like this, in terms of making sure you've obviously got these loops of train tracks and everything has to kind of fit in that?
Well, a lot of it was because we all get allotted X amount of space, so we start trying to figure out, okay, what can we build to use each like little quadrant that we're supposed to get, and just start with, like for example, that particular building is 64 by 96. So I knew I had that spot that I had to fill, so it was like, okay, well, what could I use with that? So I just lay some plates out and just start trying to build on top of it to see how big or how insane we can make something fill that little particular area.
Do you know how many builders were involved in the whole layout?
Total for this particular layout, I think we have 7 people in total. And then, like I said, the front, it was people just trying to help out to hide my mistake, and so it was just a bunch of random people that grabbed sets from their house.
No, that works. This is so amazing. So thank you so much for kind of taking us through the whole layout here. We'll definitely have a more in-depth video, like we said, on the Avengers Tower for people to check out as well. You can see more of the details there. So keep up the great work. Thank you.